Welcome back, Book Fiends, to Wicked Good Books, a channel dedicated to books and things book adjacent. My name is Nick, and I'm the host of this channel. Welcome back, everyone. It's been a while since I've uploaded a fresh video, so I kind of wanted to jump in real quick before I recorded some new content for you, with some just life updates in general, just kind of what I'm up to and why I haven't been posting as much. I think I announced on one of my live streams for one of my Patreon live shows that I'm partaking in a 3-month-long writer's workshop with 2 members from our Patreon community, so it's really cool to interact with them that way, but also to prioritize my writing of my book. Trying to get the first draft done before the end of the year. That's kind of like my goal. I've made some excellent progress with what I'm working on, so it's definitely working, and it's bringing me back to my workshop days in my undergrad, so it's definitely working, and I'm really happy to be a part of the group and to be going through this experience the next 3 months. That being said, I still want to try and record a couple of videos and post them throughout the month, so there's some content for you guys on this channel, as well as just keeping the channel alive and breathing. I was going to post something last week, but my laptop battery finally decided that it was time to die. So I had to take it to the Apple store and get it fixed, and then they hadn't have any appointments for me, so I ended up having to send it out to get repaired, which was fine because I guess they did a whole bunch of other repairs on it too for the battery and the fan and stuff like that. So hopefully it'll work a little bit better, and now that I have it back in my possession, I can continue writing as well as editing and filming videos, posting for Wicked Good Books. I've been doing a lot of live shows for my Patreon community. We just kind of do lo-fi live chats, or just kind of hop on while I'm editing, while I'm writing, or I'm setting up these cameras and stuff, or just kind of just hanging out, talking about books and TVs and movies and video games and anime and all kinds of nerdy content. And it's been a lot of fun to interact with the community that way. It is just for my patrons, but hopefully eventually I can figure it out where I can do one of those shows a month for YouTube. For all my subscribers. That's kind of like my goal moving forward, going into September. August is kind of slim packed for me. I don't have much time to do much of anything other than write and get some reading done. I have been reading a ton. I'm not sure if anybody who's watching has been checking out my Goodreads, but last month I had an excellent reading month. Everything was like 4 or 5 stars. Granted, I kind of like planned for certain books that I really wanted to get to that I knew I was going to love, but there's still the chance that, I might not like them. But I ended up loving almost everything I've read. I don't think I read anything below a 4-star last month, and this month is kind of picking up right where I left off. So I'm right at the end of Grey Sister right now by Mark Lawrence, and I'm really digging it. I also am doing a reread of Why the Last Man in preparation for the TV show coming out on Hulu. That's one of my favorite graphic novels. I read that, I remember I had a friend when I worked at Borders who worked there with me, and she was obsessed with it, and she got me into it. And honestly, it was great then. And what I'm noticing now is that it aged so well, but almost in a bad way, because it so reflects the world we live in now, it more so than ever before. So it's both awesome and terrifying, kind of like Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower. It reminds me a lot of that, actually. So really, really interesting reads. That is our graphic novel showcase for the month for the Wicked Good Books community Discord. Again, that is private only, that is for my patrons, but that's what we're reading together. We are also reading Cyro's Claw by Virginia McLean, which is a self-pub book that was recommended by our patrons, and we threw it on the poll, and that won for August, so I'm really excited for that one. I don't know too much about it other than there's fine familiar talking wolf characters, and it's kind of this pseudo fictional Japanese setting, I think. I haven't looked too much into it. It was a patron suggestion that they thought I'd be really vibe with, and we're going to check it out. I know there's a couple of us already reading it. I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm kind of saving it for the end of the month, because I've got a bunch of backlog books I'm trying to get through before it, as well as there's no audiobook for it, so I can't listen to it while I'm at work. So it's going to be an e-read copy for me probably, because the hardcover is a little expensive for right now. But I'm excited to check it out, and I'm going to be doing a review on it probably pretty soon. Same thing with all the backlog books that we've read for the Wicked Good Books Patreon. We did Master of Jin and Hall of Smoke, the 5th season. We also read Lights of Prague last month, which was so cool by Nicole Jarvis. It was such a fun book, and I really want to do a review of that because I feel like no one's talking about it that much, at least not that I've seen. Other than on Goodreads, it's buzzing a little bit, but on YouTube, I haven't seen many content creators talking about it. It was a really fun read. The audiobook was excellent. I love when they do accents and tones and sound effects. That just it makes the whole audio experience that much better, and it brings the story to life so much better than I could have with even with a vivid imagination. But other than that, guys, I've been doing I've been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering. I've kind of rekindled my love for it. I grew up playing it in the early, mid 90s. And Magic Arena is a new app that you can play kind of online, so I've been kind of interacting with the community that way and playing with a few of our patrons who are also big Magic fans, which has been really cool. You know, the live chats, the Magic games, the live shows I've been doing for book discussions, and soon we announced together as a server that I'm going to be launching the Wicked Good podcast, which will be a podcast that'll come out periodically throughout the month, very much focused on one book that we're reading together. Very inspired by the 10 Very Big Books podcast, which is a Malazan reread podcast. I read Memories of Ice last month by Stephen Erickson. It's book 3 in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series, and that was the book that won me over in that series. The first 2 books are good, but I felt like I finally had a firm grasp of the world, but also why people love it so much. Anyway, I really enjoyed that book, and the podcast made it that much better. And inspired by that, I kind of wanted to, inspired by conversations we've had in my community about wanting to deep dive into why I love, or why we all love these books so much, certain books anyway. They're our die-hard favorites. And so I'm not going to announce yet which book will be featuring on the podcast, but we've already chosen the 3 co-hosts with me that'll be reading it. It'll be 1 person who has read the book before and 2 that have not. We already have an intro and outro music planned and booked, as well as some really cool art for the podcast album cover. So a lot of really cool things in the works right now that I'm working on, kind of in the background while I'm writing. But again, because writing is kind of prioritized for me right now, I haven't had too much time to post a lot of that stuff yet. But cool things are coming for the Wicked Good Books community. I'm really excited to record the first podcast at the end of this month. It's probably going to be an intro episode, and they'll probably drop twice a month, I think. We haven't really talked about our posting schedule. We don't really want to fly through it, and we're kind of doing it at our own pace. But I'm really excited to get that content out for you guys, as well as make it for myself, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun just to be a part of on my end. It is my favorite book of all time, so being able to discuss it in this way with this group is going to be really interesting, and I'm really excited about it. I wanted to make a few quick videos like this to kind of give you a channel update, talk about some NerdTube content that I'm working on. I got a really cool TV review that I want to do for the show Dark that I'm going to be posting pretty soon that I'm really excited about. I also have a video game book suggestions. I don't want to say what it is yet because I'm really excited about it, but that one's been in the works for about a month now. I kind of dropped a little hint on it on my Instagram a few months ago, but the video is super long. It's got a ton of art, so it's taking me a long time to make it, and I don't like just to shell out videos super quick. I like them to be decent quality, so that they last a long time, but also give you guys something of value to watch and enjoy, as well as me editing it. But yeah, that's just a little update of what's been going on with me and with Wicked Good Books. We're also still holding the Wicked Good Books D&D 5e one-shot still. We were actually on our 3rd and final game coming up. Scheduling has been kind of rough because these patrons are all over the United States and Canada, so it's hard to kind of lock everyone in. But we've done a pretty good job, I think, at scheduling it and making it work. But this is going to be the last game, 3 of 3. Not including the session 0, and I'm really excited to see how it goes. I've been recording that footage throughout each game. Some of it's choppy, and some of it the audio is kind of wonky, but I think I have enough to put together a video for that as well, to kind of show off what we're doing and give you a little sneak peek of what the patrons have access to for that D&D one-shot. And we did announce on a previous video that the next one-shot will be in the world of Theros, which is a Magic the Gathering D&D crossover. It's like the Greek mythology setting. Really excited for that one. We've already locked in our guest, and we've locked in all of our players, so I'm really excited to start posting about that. But I wanted to finish the first game, Rime of the Frost Maiden, which we're going to do a channel Wicked Good Books review for that module as well. It's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to share some of those funny memories that we have rolling dice together. I love Dungeons and Dragons. It's one of my favorite hobbies and pastimes that I do with my family and my friends, and being able to include that with my YouTube and Patreon community for Wicked Good Books has brought a whole new level of enjoyment and appreciation for it, that I'm just really grateful that the game exists and that these friends now want to join it and play it, as well as my patrons, some of which have never played before and are now becoming fans of the game. So it's just really exciting as a lover and a D&D enthusiast to share that with the community, and seeing so many people react so positively to it. Just really cool. And that's going to wrap this one up, guys. Like I said, it's a shorter video, just to kind of give you an update what I'm working on. As far as maybe what I'm reading, things I really enjoyed. I read Settlement Ends by Josiah Bancroft last month, which has become a new favorite. I really love that book. I read Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, which I was absolutely blown away by and surprised at just how much I loved it. And I cannot wait for the second book to come out. I read Star Eater by Kirsten Hall, which I really, really loved. I had some slight issues, not issues, but things I kind of wanted more of. But as a whole, like the world was so interesting, and I didn't want it to end. I loved that book. I also started reading some of the Warhammer 40k books, the Beckwin novels by Dan Abnett, which I'm really loving. They're giving me those big Lock Tomb vibes, so it's kind of like scratching that itch. I also started reading Wonder Book by Jeff Vandermeer and his wife Anne Vandermeer, I believe, which is like a writing workshop book for fiction, sci-fi, and fantasy writers, and a little bit of horror too. And that has been awesome. I've been kind of sharing that with my workshop group. We're actually reading it together and doing it like an assignment, like we're doing like homework to read it, and we're doing exercises together. So that's been really cool. And Heretics of Dune, which I have a lot of thoughts about, and then I'll probably be a different video because this is already longer than I want it to be. But yeah, I'm looking forward to starting the next read, which will be Cyro's Claw, and I think I'm reading Arm of the Sphinx by Josiah Bancroft next, as well as Xenos by Dan Abnett, the first book in the Eisenhorn trilogy, the Warhammer 40k books. And I also have Sorrowland by River Solomon on my list. Got a bunch of books that are coming out this month that I'm on my roster that I'm kind of cycling through. But I'm really excited for those ones, and I'm going to conclude the month with Cyro's Claw by Virginia McLean. And we'll be doing a review for that one as well because it is the Wicked Good Book selection for August. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. I'll put a link down below for anybody that wants to look into how to become a patron for the Wicked Good Books Patreon community. We have a private Discord server that has a really cool theme to it, I think. And it's just a really great growing community. We do a lot of cool activities together. I think in the photography section, we're doing like a photo challenge every month with our phones, just like something silly, like taking landscapes of whatever. It's just a lot of fun. And we vote on who had the best photo for the month, and that person gets to pick the new theme for the next month. Just little things like that that really bring everyone together and kind of have fun, but doesn't take itself too seriously, but also just like engaging. That's kind of the content I want to continue to make. As well as invite more people to have access to. Despite being in the middle of my writer's workshop, I'm going to be still prioritizing writing for the next 3 months or so. But I'm still going to be posting videos like this to keep the channel from being stagnant, as well as posting videos that are a little bit longer that I've already shot prior to the writing workshop. They're just taking me forever to edit. But now that my laptop's back, back and functioning, back to being functionable. Post down below what you're reading. I'd love to hear how your fall reading has begun and what you're enjoying, what you're digging, and what your most anticipated releases are for spooky season, because there's a lot of good books coming out next month and throughout the fall. But yeah, looking forward to hearing back from you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay wicked.